Is Philly. Hello, Aaron. Hey, Matt. Hi, Anna. Hi, Brittany. I think it's Brittany who's watching.
I suck at this so bad.
Can you hear
Oh,
me?
hi. I can hear you. I can hear the
Why are you
birds
so
too.
quiet now?
I don't know. I can hear me. Can you hear me?
Very, very quiet. Oh, that's horrible. There's no headphones for this. Wait.
Oh, shit. I don't want to talk louder because nobody wants to hear
Like,
me
like it
talk
was on a
louder.
whisper. I heard you loud and clear before. Oh, this
Oh
is so
dear. Well, I
strange.
don't know. That's okay. I can hear the birds in the background for you though, loud and
Yeah,
clear.
yeah. I
Whereabouts in the
guess I'll
world
just,
are you?
do my best without being able to hear you.
Whereabouts in the world are you?
Oh, it's like I'm with my grandmother. It's horrible. I'm just reading lips. Like, I know
Where?
laughter.
Okay, where in the world are you? Hold on, let's try
Oh, I'm
this.
in the South.
Okay.
I mean, we have internet. It's just I'm unlucky, and it's just not working for this particular case. But yeah, I'm in the Carolinas.
Okay.
I just don't look like it.
That's okay.
uh,
Um, that's okay. You do you. Can you tell us, first off, thank you so much for doing this interview. I know you probably get asked a ton of questions with your big leg, and after a while, it gets really annoying. It's emotional and it sucks. So, can you tell us about your condition, how you got it, and your experience up until now with your big leg?
all right, so I'm gonna start by just like describing what like how mine is, because like that's a big one. People aren't really like this, like you said in the other one. They're all different. Mine is like a weird extreme of lymphedema where I don't have any lymph nodes in my right leg. There's none. There's nothing to flow. There's just like one in my groin. So it's just like I stand, it turns purple. It's just what it is. It scares, it terrifies people. Like I don't know what else to say, but that's just what it is. And people think or associate it with either theirs or one with cancer or people who have a certain damage. Mine is just so weird. Like to get diagnosed, it was a year. I'll go into that, but it's not like these other ones. There's nothing in it to push up anything. It's just me, like moving, using like I'm a 70 compression. I'm using the pumps now, but when I started, that was not a thing. They told you against that. They said you do that, and you don't clear the lymphatic the channels, you're gonna mess up everything. And but anyway, I'll try to go into the story. It's just there's a whole nother life beyond lymphedema that was going on. So it's like gonna sound weird in places, and it's just kind of wild. But originally, I'm
Philly,
from
sorry. You were born with this, right? From day one.
no,
Oh,
no, I'm weird. Like literally, like
okay.
I'm the weird one.
Okay, then tell us that
So
you've got the
so
microphone.
I'm gonna mention things as well that were ticks of maybe something happened with this, okay? Because a lot of weird stuff happened. So I was originally from Long Island, and my pediatrician was, if I'm remembering correctly, Dr. Boris, and one of these other guys. They're now, which is really weird, top specialists of lymphedema, like in New York. And back in the day when I was real little, we were there, and my mom has fibromyalgia and Hashimoto's, and she had this like attack, like a heart thing, when we were there to get an immunization for my brother. So for some reason, while my mom is on the table, they decide, let's grab the wrong kid and immunize him again. That's me. So that was the first time they messed up on me, like, I think it was like 5. So that's the first time. And, nothing really came of it, but I was really sick, and like around like 7 or 8, like I got really weird stomach stuff. I couldn't eat. It was like a punishment. If I ate anything, I developed candida. Like I couldn't eat anything. It was horrible. I get no sugar. I grew up holistic, like before holistic was a thing. so it was a lot of grains. Like I was aware of how to eat healthy back then. We're talking like early 90s. And so we moved down to the south. And during this time here, my parents went through a lengthy divorce. And during this time, 9/11, it was kind of crazy. It was all around this time, 9/11. And then around that time, everyone was watching the news. We're watching the news with it. And my mom looks at my ankle. I'm about 10 at the time. And my grandfather, like, he was in the war. He was in Korea, all this stuff. He had cancer and stuff way down the road. So, like, I was familiar with certain looks. And I said, look, I got an ankle like Papa. And she's looking at me. She's like, what is that? Like, that's really weird. And I'm only 10. I got, like, a little skinny ankle and another one. So they basically, she calls up a friend of mine's mom at the time. And she was a nurse. And she's like, I don't know what this is. Like, this is weird. This is weird. So she's like describing the symptoms, and it's big, like you couldn't see my heel. It was just like a thing. And you're a kid, you don't know that there's a problem, and so I'm not understanding. But my mom starts freaking out, and they think that they say that maybe it's a blood clot. So they take me straight to the hospital, and like obviously like no one's taking it serious, and then it started with the testing, and when the testing started, it was like that night, and it went from that night throughout the night to the morning. Like they didn't stop. It was just like X-ray, this. What did you do? Like, did you get injured? Emotional trauma? Hold on one quick. I gotta put this dog inside. I'm sorry. He wants to be a part, and no.
Oh my God, that's a huge dog. It's amazing how emotional this is, you guys.
Anyway,
this is not easy.
So they decided to tell me like around, like, I think it was like 3 or 4 a.m. They had me in a room, my mom in a room, like, your son has cancer. And so like, it wasn't like a buildup, it was just like, you got cancer. And I didn't understand. All I knew is my grandfather died of that. So all I knew is you're not there anymore. You get it, you're gone. Like I'm 10. And my mom starts freaking out, crying, and it was like, what do you do now? What do you do with you got cancer? And so they're like, well, what kind of cancer? So then again, from that point on, it's such a blur because I was 10. It was just every day for like there was like no breaks. It was just every day, hospital, Duke, UNC, like Chapel Hill, like all of the best medical you could go to, and it was not nice. They were not nice people. It was me. It was your parents were divorced, so you're mentally ill. You had that, it was like all of this. You have a child with a problem, and that's why whatever this is associated with that. It's not even cancer. They're making up things now, and it became points where now they're just testing me with different, I don't know why. It's like every time I go in, a new needle in a different arm. Every time I gotta meet a stranger, like I'm 10 years old, I gotta meet a new stranger every day, and honestly be touched in places no child should have to constantly be touched every single day by a stranger. No privacy, no concern. Eventually, after years, I'm talking, I didn't get diagnosed for a year and a half. Every day I'm in a hospital. They knew me. Like, I just played, like, I was a very quiet kid, like, and after a while, you don't have humanity anymore. You don't have dignity anymore. You're just somebody that just, like, you're a kid, you have no, they took me out of school. I couldn't go to school. I forgot cancer. What's the point?
You were like a lab rat, right?
It was just going every day. And I remember there was 2 instances before I was 14, where it was really bad. And it was the first one where really I just started shutting off people. It was like a nurse, and I was 10. I always looked older. I always was like more mature, like even before this. And she was grabbing me by the arm, and that like I developed a fear of needles from this. And so she grabbed me and she was like, trying to give me, the shot, and I started crying. And she started screaming at me and twisting my arm, saying, "You're grown up, you're 16 years old, stop crying, stop crying." And it got to the point where after that, I got really like defensive with them. And I remember, I think I was about 13. You can't put a needle in. So I was diagnosed with lymphedema, but now it was primary or secondary. They didn't know because it was so random. And now they were like, "Well, have you ever been out of the country?" When I was real young, it was random, but I was in the Bahamas for a while, and it was quick. And they said, "Well, maybe you got it in the Bahamas." And so they said maybe it was a parasite. So then the parasite route. I'm doing all these natural healing things on my own with my mom doing that. So while I'm doing this, they're still trying to just diagnose me because you can't get treatment if they don't know what you have. So I'm missing school. I'm this subject. Now they got me in this situation where they got me in this room and a male nurse is like, "We're going to put this needle in your leg. We got to check something." I said, "No, you can't do that." I had this stupid bracelet, stupid bracelet, lymphedema. It didn't matter. And I said, if you try that, like I was young, if you try that, like I'm going to get out of this room. And he's like, "No, you're not." He got another male nurse, and the two of them held me down in that room and put that needle, and I'll never forget. It was like honestly, I hated dudes. From that point on, I was like, I hate dudes. Like, I hate them. Like, from that point on, it was just, anytime I was in like this fight or flight mood, it was just, I'm gonna fight. Like, and actually right after that's when I started working out. But they held me down in that room, stabbed me with that needle in the leg, couldn't walk for another week and a half. It didn't matter. It don't matter.
Did you get cellulitis at all from that?
There was no repercussion.
Did you get cellulitis from that?
I probably did, but I didn't know what it was. See, every time you get an illness, like, I'm a doctor, look at me now. If you're sick, all I'm gonna do is give you an antibiotic and send you on your happy way. That's all they can do. Unless you're a surgeon, it's an antibiotic, it's an IV, and that's it. And so then they destroy your immune system each time. It's just like, it's clockwork at this point. So anyway, that happens. I'm like, at that point, like, I am obviously like having my issues with the system. And I'm just doing manual lymph drainage, but now it's a joke. At the time, there's no VADA certification for it. It's just people who are regular therapists doing this and wasting my summers. Everyone else gets a life. I don't even get my summers now. I'm wrapped like a mummy so someone could do this and tell me to run on a treadmill. Not be covered by insurance. There's nothing for children. They're making me handmade garments, So when they're making them custom like that and you're a child, everything's out of pocket. We're talking $200 to $500 for one stupid thing that they cut off the top and put a woman pantyhose top to. Mortifying as hell having to wear these things. Now I'm in school. You gotta understand, like, I'm in school. I miss school. So now they go, "You're stupid. We're gonna have to do psychological tests on you. You're ADD. Of course I'm ADD. I'm focusing on what I got here all the time." So they tell me I'm ADD and learning disabled, dyslexic, all the, But back then again, those are all the same thing as just being mentally ill and slow. So they put me in a slow class. So while I'm going through the lymphedema, normal people get to socialize with somebody who can communicate. I'm talking about me, autistic kid, cerebral palsy kid, like kids who could not communicate. So now I got the illness, and when you're a kid, it's like, can I talk? And then I realized, you can't. You can't express lymphedema especially when you're a child. You're learning end of life. You're learning existential crises, and your innocence was already stripped away each time. In my opinion, I was, they had times I'm 13 or 14 and they had me laid out and they had students come in to check me out. Like, I'm a teenager. I didn't even go through, like, I didn't even have my first kiss yet, but now I got like these 19-year-old students looking at me in a bedgown. Like, they, you know what I mean? So it was just, the whole thing was mortifying, having to wear the garments. You go to school, Finally, I got out of that shit, by the way. Like, they found there's nothing wrong with me. They're like, he missed school. There's nothing, so I had to catch up double as fast. But what happened then is, you're a teenager. So now I'm into the teenager world. Sports, PE, or guys, girls, stuff like that. And, I was at a Christian school. My mom's like, I don't know if I want to put you in a public school with this. And I got to tell you, I would have probably, I feel like people are more accepting in a public school than they are in a private school, because it was hell. I got to tell you, it was hell. It was just like, there must have been something wrong with you to have that. You know what I mean? Like something. And then it was just the constant having to be bullied, You got pantyhose. And I got to tell you, I get this all the time. People go, how did you get through the bullying? And it was simple. I come from an Italian Sicilian family. My parents said, if anyone said anything, just kick their ass and we'll handle the principal. So, I only tell this because people with lymphedema it's like they have to fight for their confidence, They have to fight for their confidence. So many people feel like they don't even deserve love because of, this thing that doesn't affect anything. If anything, it increases your ability to have mental experiences and connections through empathy, and people don't understand that. But I have to suppress that because that's not the commonality of society. You know what I mean? Like people's level of interest are elsewhere if they haven't gone through a certain element of understanding and suffering. So when you're a child and you already have this understanding, you are so not able to connect. So, and not only that, we're talking about things you and I didn't even know we existed. You think you're all alone. So imagine, like, the teenage phase is already hard, plus that and the self-image. So I'm bringing this up because there's plenty of young people that have this, that are, like, looking for somebody, with something else than just this quiet drowning of pity. I don't know what else to say it is. It's a whole battle no one hears you in. And everybody has their own battle like that. But the bullying was relentless. And so this one kid came in. He was mad because I asked his sister to out or something. And so he comes in the bathroom. And PE, I was like, I'm changing the bathroom. I don't want to explain this thing every day. And so he starts, like, screaming for me. I come out. I'm wearing this thing. And he just goes off on me. And, long story short, I said what I had to say and I pinned him against the wall. It's over. It was over. No one else ever bullied me about it again. So it was over. So, at the end of the day, you got to stick up for yourself and respect yourself. Because if you don't respect yourself, and it has to be said with this, if you don't respect yourself with this, it mentally will destroy you, because it's mentally beating you down every day. So yeah, that time passes. I go up to New York during my teenage years. I do the dye test, lymphoscintigraphy, which was terrifying because I had a fear of needles. And they put 4 needles in your toes, and it goes through the thin layer, and they show you on the screen that it's all cool to them. Like, look how cool. And I'm like, that's terrifying. It's inside of me. There's dye in me. And so they do that, and we had to go up to New York. Who's doing it? My pediatrician who double immunized me when I was little. Yay. Reunion. A little skeptical. So I do this, and they're like, well, congratulations. You have the weirdest type, and there's nothing in your leg. You got one in your groin. And so from that point out, we're like, there's nothing we can do for you. So, but you can start your therapy now. So I started more physical therapy, and then we started doing holistic. Now, Asheville is a place in North Carolina up in the mountains to do holistic. I went up to Asheville now, but you got to understand, all the money for this. My dad, there was stuff that my dad, he was somewhere. And so it was just me, my mom, and my brother. And we were living in a Ronald McDonald house now up in the mountains, which is crazy because we're talking about people, all different problems. And it's just living together, like eating together, cooking together. And we lived there for like 2 months, I feel like. And it was just every day going there. And that's when I started learning about stuff like grape seed extract to reduce the swelling. there was like leg veins is an actual thing. I'm trying to think of some of the other one. Turmeric. All of these different holistic things to do, but nothing is covered. Nothing. So everything out of pocket, out of pocket, out of pocket. And then they were like, do you want a new nighttime? I don't know if people would do it. Back then it was like, you got a big foam boot. $4,500 for a big foam boot. And it was horrible. So you couldn't, no vacation. So it was horrible. It's like, am I ruining the family's fun now too? The guilt of that starts. Because it's like, my brother has a life, my mom has a life, but now everything is about this. It's not joy, it's not fun. It's not like we're having fun. It's like every bit of freedom is trying to get help that doesn't exist. So pretty much that went on till college. And I went to my last therapy session, and it was just, I was just ready to go to a place no one knew, just go to college, do a normal thing. But like my health was getting worse, and I knew that. Like driving, with your license and you're 16, you're like, oh, drive. This is my drive foot, And so like sometimes I don't feel it. People don't want to get in the car with me. Come on, like I don't want to get in the car with me. No one gives me credit for that. Like you gotta be anyone with the right foot. It's like a ball in your foot. No one gives me credit. They just like drive me. I'm like, you could die. You could die. I could die. I don't want to do this. No, they don't even care. Anyway, so I go to college. I park handicap because, I struggle a lot. And the thing is, people are like, oh, no, you don't struggle. I don't know why that's a thing. It's just like no one wants to admit that I struggle. So I was parking handicap because I have to. But everyone would treat me like a villain because I get out of the car and they're like, boo, you're not handicapped. Like everyone treated me like crap. So like I have a thing where no one, like I can't just go, excuse me, I have lymphedema. They're like, I lost you on the word. Boo, so I'm getting booed in handicap spots. I remember like I'm just trying to find my way. I went from Christian school where like I'm like just got a garment, like there's nothing going on there. And so to spite them, I went to ECU, which is horrible for people with lymphedema because there's too much drinking and you can't drink. But I drank because I felt like that was the only time to be alive. And I knew that my health was going. But during that time, it was just horrible because you walk different when you have lymphedema. And no one knows why you're walking that way. But it was just, people just thought it was either cool, there was something wrong with me. And they just said it was like a pimp walk. Well, what happened was one time, because everyone drinks in college. A cop assumed I was drunk because of the way I was walking. And I was just standing in a club, never drank before. He grabs me from behind in a headlock and drags me out of the club and starts yelling at me, screaming at me, And I'm like, what? And I'm like, explaining to him, I'm not drunk. I have a condition and I'm trying to pull up my pant leg, but it's stuck. So I'm like, oh no. And now I'm trying to show him my bracelet again because that matters. And he's like, I don't know what that means. Like, I'm not. And so eventually, after trying to pull my pant leg up enough, he finally was like, oh my God, there's something wrong with this kid. Freaked out and he didn't even continue the conversation. He freaked out and just walked away. So after making a cop freak out, I felt horrible about myself at that point. It was always, so I was like, I'm just hiding this. That was my freshman year. I'm like, I'm just going to hide this now. And then somehow I fell into a fraternity, but I was still hiding it. And you can't really hide that when you got to do that because they're very, you can't. I can't drink that. I would just be like, you got to go through a process to get in one. And I was just like, I can't do that. I can't do that. I was like, big leg, can't do it. And they were very reasonable, which is surprising for fraternity. But what happened was I tried to fit in so well with them that I ended up being like president, and I had to drink a lot it was a weird culture. You know what I mean? It's a very alpha culture, as America is. People follow people based off of who they are, and I don't know, people were following that, and they followed me, but it was a lot of challenging of me. And to keep that going while hiding my leg was just killing me. My leg was ridiculous, but I still wanted to go dance with them, you know, go have a good time with them, and there was just no telling them. So it was like, I'm still there with everyone, but I'm not able to be with everyone, you know? They don't know. So it got so bad that during my senior year, at one point you got to take the physical test to pass college. I couldn't do the suicides. I knew I couldn't do this stuff, but I was holding it off the whole year. So I go to the school, I was like, listen, like, again, I have lymphedema. Like, I know you don't know what it is, but I physically can't do some of this stuff. Like, I can't. They said, we don't know what that is, unless you can have a doctor's note, I went, I got a doctor's note, brought it. They said still, don't know what it is, you gotta do it. This is like my last year, exam week, for the exam, gotta do the suicides. I'm in the class, I'm doing the suicides. I don't think about it. About a week and a couple days later, you know, I remember it's like one night we go out to eat, I go home, I go to sleep, I wake up at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I just like can't feel anything but pain. I'm like, what's wrong? And I go to get up out of my bed and my legs aren't working. Like, I just fall to the ground. I didn't have any strength at all. Again, nobody really knows what's going on with me. I can't tell anybody. It's just like a part of me. You know what I mean? I didn't talk about it. I have a personality, and there's like targets on your back all the time. It felt like to me. I don't trust people. So I just crawled over to the stairwell and called my roommate Adam. Happy birthday, Adam. You're probably here. And he brought me to the ER, and they go, oh, you have Ebola. I'm gonna kill one of you. Like, one day you're gonna make me snap, okay? So they got me in this room telling me I got Ebola. I said, I don't have Ebola. I didn't have swine flu the year before. I don't have whatever the popular thing is. I don't have it. I don't have the cool one, okay? So they're making me wait, and it's ridiculous now because I got there in the morning and I'm just waiting for like 3 or 4 hours, and I go, I have cellulitis. I need an antibiotic in my arm right now. I need it. You got Ebola or something. So I was like, finally, like they had my insurance. Finally, it's so bad I'm in there. It's been like 4 or 5 hours. And you got to have one within 8 hours. You got to have this. I'm like panicking quietly inside. Like, keep calm. Just teach these idiots. So then I'm starting to like kind of fade out, you know. And I'm panicking. And they're like, we need you to sign your insurance right now. Or we're not going to help you. And I'm like, I'm going to die. And they're like, insurance. And I'm like, fuck it. And I told them the Social Security, everything. I thought I was going to die. And they injected me with morphine. And then I called my mom, was like, they're going to kill me. So she starts freaking out because she's like an hour away. She starts her way there, said, give him the antibiotic. My doctor here is calling. Give him the antibiotic. What do? We're going to re-diagnose him and leave him in the bed like this. My leg turned black. It turned black. Hey, Cam. It turned black. And, so now they got me in the room. I'm panicking. They got me on steroids. I'm fading in and out. And they tell me, you got compartment syndrome, and send in a group of young surgeons. And then there was a very attractive female one that looked me straight in the face with a big smile and goes, we're going to fillet your leg. And I said, I get the hell out of here. No, you're crazy. Especially not you. You look like you're in my class. No, you're not filleting me. I don't have that. And so then they sent in another doctor who's like, you have compartments. I was like, I got the bracelet. I got the medical history. You keep hearing from my mother's going to kill one of you when she gets in. Like, it's ridiculous. So 8 hours go by. My mom gets there from like 2 hours away. Still nothing. They didn't give me the antibiotic yet.
Wow. Finally,
she goes, I'm going to literally sue this entire hospital if you don't give them that right now. And so they did. And it was so late, they never released this till afterwards, but I got sepsis. I went septic. They waited so long. And all I can remember was there was two friends in the room that were there at the exact time I was fading out. One of them was wearing a cowboy hat, which was weird. Was weird. I don't know why you would wear that. Like, it felt like the funeral was happening.
Oh no.
He was there, and I remember just thinking, why cowboy hat? And just like fading out. And I like it's scary to talk. I never really talk about this, but it was like a fading out. It was like my near death. It was a near death experience, and it felt like this eternal. There was no separation. There was no separation of being or distinguishing of a separation, and completely at peace, whole, and what really love is. I don't know how else to explain it. It was like, I just want this. I'm okay. And I was just at peace. Like, I was just happy. And it was like, no. And it was like thrown back into my body. And I wake up and there's this stupid hat again, cowboy hat. And I remember just feeling like my whole body aching. And for the next week, it was being in this hospital bed. There wasn't really many people. And it was probably the worst hell of my life. It was every type of malpractice you can imagine. I'm talking... and none of these people know how to give an IV. They were missing my veins. I don't know how you miss my veins. Like, I lift, they're huge, and I'm pale. But they would miss all the time. And it was just like, it was scary. I was, the needles I was terrified of, they would just miss. And then they would do stuff like forget the antibiotic, and they would just put the straight saline in. And I don't know if you know what that feels like, but it's like ice in your veins. And so they would just do this over and over again, like constantly messing up. You would call for water. They were rude. They would not. I couldn't walk to the bathroom. I couldn't make it. Like a couple of feet. It was just arm strength, just like this. And then I would go to the bathroom in the bucket thing, and they wouldn't even change it for one time. It was like the whole day into the night, and I'm begging. I'm like, this is so dehumanizing to leave me like this. I would call for water. They would say, again, you call every 5 seconds. I was like, I haven't called for any. I don't ask anybody for anything. Like, if I'm asking you for water, that means I have to sit here quietly debating in my head, should I ask you? And it was just hell. I get out and they slam my credit. Oh, hey, Miles. They slam my credit, and the school, basically all this stuff, for 3 years they slammed my credit. And the chancellor of the school actually admitted that they had messed up and forgiven it. But for some reason, they kept slamming my credit. So for like 3 years, on top of buying all these garments and stuff, they were making it impossible, They were really making it hard. And so yeah, when I got out of that, it took about 2 years to build my body up again because I was on antibiotics for like another year. And I didn't have it in me to even look at my past life again. I didn't even have it in me to bother trying to explain, what I had been through, where I came from with it. I left the whole life behind. I quit I quit the fraternity. I walked out on everything. Nothing, when I came back from that experience, the end of life one, it felt like I came back in my body. Nothing of our society has any importance like that. The superficial things are just so unimportant. It's literally just this connection. That's it. It's this hiring of a vibration. And everything else is literally bullshit. It is just bullshit. All of this stuff, the going to the Capitol to argue with these people, it's people, it's us, it's what we're doing now that is actually what's making a difference. And this is something that was a question that was asked, so that's why I'm tying into this. Do I think that I'm making a difference by posting stuff, or is it just, for my own ego? And I don't think people understand, like, a part of lymphedema, not just lymphedema, a part of any struggle that is of this system. And I gotta say, this is a failing system because everyone's feeling the same thing. Everyone's feeling the exact same thing. And until there's that empathy of understanding, it is the people that are changing the society. It is us talking about lymphedema, not a group of people who got together and was like, cancer's the most money-making illness of the decade, so we're gonna focus everything on not curing it, but maintaining it. If you cure lymphedema, if we cure it, all of these, the therapists, they don't have that anymore, okay? All of these garment companies don't have it. All of the money invested into maintaining the illness, I'm just saying, again, take relation to what we have. I'm wearing a you got to be a bodybuilder and a madman to put this on your own body. There's nothing better for us. COVID in a year. A vaccine a year. We got clones since the 90s. I'm just saying, where's the money? So if the only way we are going to get anything done with any social problem is obviously not with the government. It's just not going to work. They don't give a shit. They're the reason we're in this predicament. So it's us talking as society that is making changes. It's us raising voices through ourselves, not waiting for a policy. We're not waiting for a policy. We're waiting for them to market a sale of help.
Yeah.
People are going, I got lymphedema. I'm showing you the leg. And they go, you got a mental illness. No, I got to go through the mental channels now. Now I got to go through the specialist to prove that I have lymphedema. You got to go to a foot doctor. Now you go cardiologist. Now you go to the radiologist. Now you got to get a CAT scan. Like, how many back x-rays do I need for my leg? You know, it's rack up every bill. And now you have to do it for the system to prove that you're suffering. And it's just like, that's a failing system to me. No matter what border you're behind, if every person has to justify their own suffering,
yeah,
there's something wrong. So, I just want to say, like, no one is the problem. And now everyone is pitted against each other. It's the new societal norm to say who has it worse to get some benefit.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm an influencer. I don't feel like I've done anything spectacular. I'm trying to just get through it, you know? I'm just trying to get through it, gain value in life. So, when I get this, do I think it's helping? I think that there's nothing else. There is not. Where is it else helping? Like, does anyone really, really, like, have faith in right now anyone who is leading?
I'm gonna take these out. Better now?
No, not at all. That's why I kept talking. I figured your mouth would move and I would stop.
What about now?
I just read lips well.
All right. Okay. No. I wish you could hear me, Philly. I'm gonna try shooting really loud. So I couldn't agree with you more. I feel like I've contacted every single news station. I've contacted every single lymphedema association, and I am standing here, and that's why I rallied all of you guys together to be the voice of this disease, because I'm tired of being the guinea pig. I'm tired of being poked and prodded and being like, oh, look, I've never seen this before. Can you educate me on what lymphedema is? And I really do believe it is up to the people. It is up to us to make the change, no matter if we agree or disagree. What does matter is getting the care and getting the support for each and every single one of us. And I really hope that by sharing your message today, Philly, it inspires others to do something, not even to mention give hope to the younger generation underneath of us, because it's those kids that we need to protect, and it's those kids that we need to fight for, to have them not go through the bullshit that we all did when we were old. So I know it was incredibly emotional for you. Some of your stories took me back to a place where I had to live, and it's incredibly hard to listen what you had to go through. And I'm really sorry that you were treated as the guinea pig and the test subject to try to educate the medical professionals. So thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you for watching.
Do you have anything else that you would like to share for everybody watching?
Honestly, we just got to be aware of our surroundings more and focus on, like, the real connections, like the real things, being real.
Yeah, link up with those who make you want to do better. I know I've had to have a lot of soul searching inside myself to make a difference within my life, but now I want to take everybody with me who wants to make a difference. And frankly, you guys, sometimes I don't even know how, but I do know that if I link up with somebody who wants to make me better, we're all going to be better because we're all pushing forward towards something bigger than us. And just challenge yourself to surround yourselves with those who make you level up. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about, Philly, before we go?
Uh, uh, you want to see my dog?
Yeah, let's see your
He's been
dog.
crying at the door.
All right, let's check him out. Oh,
What do you see, Capone? Now he's deaf. I got an emotional therapy, for all this. I was like, I'll get close with an animal, So I got Capone, and then it was just like, I have terrible luck. I got Capone, and then he had a terrible. They're like, things just happen. Some things are just unfortunate. Your dog has a terrible ear infection. You got to have an ear ablation. So then we went to get it, and they're like, now we need another one, and I was like, really? He got 2 ears gone, and I got one leg. Like, not. We're like just special. We're just special like that.
I guess you guys are.
Thank you for watching. I'm sorry, I keep throwing my ear in people's face.
It's okay. I'm really sorry you can't hear. This would have been so much more fun if I could figure out how to get you to hear this all. Thank you so much again, really, for taking the time. I didn't love your story. I'm going to be honest. It really. It bothers me a lot, and I'm hoping that for those people who are watching,
I'm just glad you didn't cry, because every time people make me tell the story, it's like they'll have me they have me talk to therapists sometimes, like for like, they're like, do you have disability? Like, let's talk to therapists. Twice these people start crying. One of them had a son named Philip with 2 L's too. She started bawling, and there's nothing worse than being on there. And I'm like, don't cry, please don't cry, please don't, because now I feel bad because I made you cry. And I don't know how to confront you on it. So anyway, I'm trying. Like, I don't know what else to say. Just everybody keep trying. Keep doing whatever.
Keep pushing. The more of us that rally together, if we get really, really big, you guys, and really, really noisy, they can't ignore us anymore, and things are going to have to change. And like I said, I've reached out to every single news station here in my public hometown, and not a single person wants to do this news story. It's incredibly upsetting to see the lack of awareness and the lack of support, but it really is driven by the people. So guys, this is a challenge for you. I've gone all month long to
just cause
awareness.
a scene.
I have
just throw things.
Just make a noise.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
threaten.
Just throw it.
No, joking. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Call Philly's Mafia. No. You guys, thank you so much for watching. If you guys want to get involved and take part, please send me a message and let me know how. For anybody who is watching, if you are unaware, I am giving over $2,500 of my favorite products and supplies to get back into the hands of the community. If you want to know more information, please send me a message. If you have any comments or any questions that you want to ask me or anybody else that we're interviewing throughout this entire month, again, send those questions in. This is your opportunity to learn. This is your opportunity to plug in so you get out of it what you put into it. We appreciate you. We love you. You stay safe, stay well, and try to keep your spirits up.
Yep.
Peace out.